Opinion.
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 Opinion. Opinion.
Opinion.
Okay, so I'm Claire Robilliard, and I'd like to start up a series of podcasts interviewing fantastic people in the industry of massage, well-being, and really tackling some subjects that I feel are really close to the hearts of therapists and the business of massage, which is really where I want to touch on with my good friend John Holman today. John Holman created a wonderful massage tool called Hydrotherm, which combines heat, flotation, and massage. And it has led to him having a very successful therapy business, but is actually helping many therapists tackle the problems that they face from repetitive strain injury and also clients that are not so comfortable lying face down. So we're going to explore a few questions with John, and so probably just to start by saying welcome, John Holman.
Thanks very much, Claire.
So my
nice to be here.
first podcast. So I'd like to tackle a few questions, and John, your first introduction, if you like, to kneading was bread, I believe.
It was indeed, yeah. So I took a very backward-facing business back in 1976. I bought a lovely backward-facing business. It had been a bakery for nearly 300 years, and I owned it for 14 years, and by hook or by crook I managed to develop the business from a £5,000 a year business to one of 1.76 million, and then I sold it. So yes.
Wow. And then, so what got you into massage from there on?
Actually, I was a regular recipient of it. As a business grows, you're subject to all sorts of different stresses and strains, and I found massage very relaxing, very therapeutic, and very beneficial. So I used to go to see a chap called Neil Slack across in Kirtlington, and it became part of my life. I got fascinated by it.
Brilliant. And if I remember rightly, somebody also challenged you on the career choice, and that was that there was no money to be made in massage.
That's absolutely right. It was actually Neil Slack himself who challenged me when I was looking at his business and thinking, well, you work from home, you use about 10 pence worth of oil, you have no travel costs, and you're charging me £20 an hour. So that's a fantastic business model. And I did say to Neil that I was going to sell my business and learn to do massage. And I was told in emphatic terms by Neil, there's no money in massage. And he used his car as a reference. I was very fortunate at the time that I pulled up at his house in a fairly new Ferrari, which I'd managed to acquire, and parked it next to his very beat-up Volvo. And he pointed to my car and his car and said, "There's definitely no money in massage." And at the time, I was arrogant enough and ignorant enough to believe, I bet there is, you just don't know how to make it. Well, I've been trying to prove me right for the last 27 years.
So, you know, for the last 26 years, you've been running a clinic in a privately owned health and fitness club. And I really want to ask you, you know, why you set up Massage Matters along with a team of therapists.
Well, for many years, I just did the work that I was trained to do. Over in town, I had a very good friend who was a fitness instructor, and it was thought at one time, because the trainer there, Nick Burns, was a very good pal of mine, and it was believed at one time that Nick would break people in the gym, and I'd put them back together again, so it looked very conspiratorial. But I really simply wanted to work on my own. In my last business, I employed 100 people. And that's very stressful to do with all the rules and regulations of in the food industry. And I wanted to work on my own, so I set it up really so I could go and work on my own.
Brilliant. And, you know, I understand that you actually are booked 1 year in advance. Is that true?
It is. It sounds ridiculous. There are some reasons for it, but I am completely blessed. I'm not a religious person, but I'm completely blessed in having clients who want to come and see me regularly, and I chose a few years ago only to work around 15 hours a week in my clinical work, because I run other businesses, as you know. And what I found was that people were getting very annoyed that they couldn't get the same time each and every week. And I came up with an idea that if you wanted it, you'd need to book it a year in advance. And I'm now in the fortunate position that my Saturday clinic has been booked a year ahead for about 16 years now, and it's already booked for the rest of this year, and it'll already be booked in December. It'll be booked for the entire year in 2017. My Thursday clinic took a little time to get to that phase, but I'm now at the point where I really do only have about an odd hour or a half hour during any Thursday. So yeah, it's absolutely true, but there's a reason for it.
That's a wonderful forecast. And when I look at how that particular business has grown from just yourself to employing a team of therapists with Mark, with Anna, and Massage Matters came at a point when it was either close or let's go to the next level.
Yep, that's absolutely right. I got to a point where I really couldn't take on any more clients. But I was renting a property for 7 days a week and occupying it for about a day and a half or 2 days. And that didn't make commercial sense, really. I was very fortunate then that some people who wanted to come and work with me and develop their skills and learn how to build a clinic that I'd got wanted to come and work with me, and we decided to completely revamp the business, create a lovely reception area and a couple of treatment rooms. And it's been my pleasure to show Mark and Hannah how to build a business like the one I've got.
Brilliant. It's definitely a wonderful skill that John has, is to share his knowledge and share his expertise. And one of the things that I found in my own clinic was that I was attracting clients very specifically who were suffering with arthritis, suffering with the pain of ME, for those clients that just did not feel comfortable laying on their tummy. John, who do you attract in your clinic?
Well, what's tended to happen is most of my work's associated with musculoskeletal pain. So people who are experiencing pain. Now, it could be through sporting activities or through lifestyle or through some of the things that we do which aren't good for our backs or our necks and shoulders. Sitting at desks, keyboarding, all those types of things. So I tended to attract people who'd initially got problems, musculoskeletal problems. And what I found was I needed a slightly different set of skills than the ones that I'd left college with. So I set about learning some of those skills. So.
Wonderful. So I found that one of the ways that I actually book clients in regularly, because I'll be honest with you that I don't accept people in my clinic who are not in it for regular massage. I write wellbeing plans for every single client that comes into the clinic because I care about the progress that I'd like them to see, and I want them to see the potential of what regular massage can offer. And just recently I sold 2 courses of annual massage to 2 clients in the same day. And it just shows that there is a need for massage. It is no longer a luxurious treat. Would you agree?
Absolutely. In fact, my entire clinic has been based around a similar premise. In today's lifestyle, with today's stresses and strains and demands on us, physically, mentally, in our sporting activities and everything else, we've never really understood the true value of really effective massage, and I am completely passionate about people feeling the real benefits of properly applied massage.
Yeah, I agree. And can I also sort of stretch onto that a little bit? To get those clients to book in regularly, and we're looking at the business of massage, we have to look at cost. How do you determine what to charge as a therapist? Because I know so many therapists over the years who just love what they do, you and I included. And if we could offer massage for free, I know we would. But how do we come about making a decision of what to charge?
Yes, it's a challenge, isn't it? I think the way that I've done it, and you must bear in mind that I've been doing this for quite a long time now, so my pricing structure has kind of evolved from what I used to pay as a regular recipient of massage to one of what I should charge depending on my skill level. And over the years, it's built up and built up and built up. I think the key element here for me is I'm not at all motivated by money. It does not press my buttons whatsoever. I'm actually not interested in money. It's a byproduct of what I do. So the way that I approach this, you can look around. I haven't got a clue what other therapists charge around me. I place a value on my skill sets. I'm not the most expensive. I don't need to be. I don't try and set myself up as something quite extraordinary. So pricing is something that I think has to reflect your cost base. It has to reflect your value as you as a therapist and what you bring to your clients. So currently, to date, here in early 2016, I charge £65 an hour and £35 for half an hour.
Exactly the same that I charge as well. Can I ask you what one piece of advice you'd give to a therapist in order to grow their business? Because we see therapists, real workhorses, back-to-back massages, and I think there comes a point where, you know, if they're not looking after themselves, that they certainly sort of fall by the wayside and fall into other careers because they can't sustain their business. You know, one piece of advice would you give those that love what they do but they need to make a business of it?
Well, I think the single piece of advice that I would give to any therapist, and I continue to do this, it is I have a massage myself every Saturday, and I pay a therapist to do it. Now that happens to be Mark, who you know. Now my great privilege there was, and it always was an ambition of mine, was to teach. I wanted to experience my own massage, and to do that, I had to train somebody in the way that I work, and I've been doing that for the last couple of years with Mark. I now pay Mark the going rate every Saturday to have a treatment because I need to look after me. It's absolutely number one. Mark pays me once a week for me to look after him. So I think therapists don't look after themselves. They're givers by nature, and I think sometimes you need to just take care of yourself. And it's absolutely, I live by the law that if what I practice I try and preach. So I know the benefits of massage. I'm a regular recipient of it, and I think that's the single most important thing as far as I'm concerned.
And I agree wholeheartedly. And in fact, I'm questioned by those clients that invest with me. They always turn the question on myself and ask me how often I have a massage. And I can gratefully say that I also invest in massage, and I also pay for it because I believe that you should not give anything out for free, you know, when it's a valuable skill.
Absolutely.
So, John, I wanted to ask you, who inspires you? And I see a massive library of education before me, and I know that you have one or two favourite books amongst it. Right. So tell me a little bit about your inspirations.
Okay. Yep, I do. I have. I learned some years ago that you need different skill sets to succeed in business. So I take inspiration from all sorts of areas, and that can be from my own children or grandchildren. To some of the greats. So I like and inspired by people who challenge conventional thinking. So one of my favourite people to listen to on the TED lectures is a chap called Simon Sinek, who brings a physiological understanding to how people buy things. So my favourite anatomy books are probably Myofascial Pain and Dysfunction, a Trigger Point Manual, and my favourite of all anatomists is Frank H. Netter. So I'm inspired by lots of things in business, in communication, in understanding, in sales, because you're going to need all those skills to be a very successful therapist.
And I agree with you. I'm a great fan of Frank H. Netter, except the difference between you and I is that I opted for the colouring book. You opted for the boys' version. So this was one of my burning questions to you, and that's, how do you retain the level of knowledge? I've always admired your knowledge, and I know that anyone that's in your company will think at some point, I wish I had your brain. So I'd really like to know any sort of skills that you feel that you can share that helps us retain this information. Do you have a study plan? How frequently do you read? What do you listen to?
Okay, it's a great question. I'm going to share a secret with you that I've never shared with anybody else. Okay, the way that I do this is I look for sound bites of information. I look for things that kind of amuse me or have really odd facts associated with them. And the human body is blessed with millions of them. So I love sound bites, which starts remembering some simple sentence or paragraph or silly fact about something enables me to develop a story about it associated with other things that are more clinically biased. So for example, I was doing a study on teaching a treatment that you and I are familiar with called fantastic foot treatment, and I needed to understand a little bit about the feet. So I learned some interesting facts about them, and I'll just repeat them to you. So you have 26 bones in your feet. The bones of both of your feet make up more than 25% of all the bones in your body. You've got 33 joints in your foot. You have 100 muscles and ligaments and tendons and 250,000 sweat glands. There's another interesting fact that I'm not sure I'm going to share about it regarding the size of a man's feet and any other part of his anatomy, but I can assure you there's no correlation, and that's been medically proved with 2 studies at 2 hospitals in London.
And I love how John could only John could put that across, and it's fair to say that John learns with a humour and really loves to find information and facts that amuse him, because it's a great way to retain and hold retention of knowledge. So I have the joy of really coaching a wonderful team of therapists. I call them my Better Wellbeing team. And I threw out the opportunity to them that I was interviewing John today. And I said, so hey guys, what do you want to ask John? What's your burning questions? So I'm going to start off with a wonderful therapist. She's actually a naturopathic nutritionist as well as a hydrotherm therapist, Jennifer Hadley. She's based in Norfolk, in Norwich, and she runs a company called Nutrition Norfolk. And the question that coming from a real research background, the question she wanted to ask John is, John, would you consider having a graduate forum for those hydrotherm therapists that really have invested within the training that is offered at the company, and somewhere that they can go to for support, place that they can discuss their cases, their best insurance, but all with a sort of an overlooking eye, so that we don't get lost in a forum that just talks about, I believe this, I believe that, but is actually under the watchful eye of people like yourself and I that can, just be sure that the knowledge is correct.
Yes, I think that's a great idea, Jennifer, and I'm going to explore this with Claire when we are reviewing our training manuals and the support materials that we provide to our therapists. So I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea. It's now logged here at the office, and so we will be investigating it. We should be looking for somebody to run this forum, so I should probably be returning the question to you to say, were you going to give us a hand with it?
Jenny, I hope you're up for that challenge. I know you will be. So then we go down to Barking, down south, Amadeep Rinki Matharu Lau. She is a wonderfully creative person who combines dressmaking and hydrotherm therapy. And she actually really wanted to know about how can we get hydrotherm out into the big marketplace, John, because there is still this air of secrecy about hydrotherm. There's a lot of therapists, a lot of clients that still don't know about hydrotherm. So kind of how do you see, us really getting it out there in the marketplace?
Again, it's a great question, Rinki, and Here, I have to hold my hand up to something. I have had the great privilege to build a very successful therapy business, and it takes skills and understanding and knowledge, which I hope very much through various forums to share with people like yourself on how to build your own businesses like this, because it's perfectly possible to do. I'd ask you to accept that you actually need a slightly different skill sets to build a business that operates nationally. I know this to be true. So you can, larger companies can afford to put absolute fortunes into marketing and doing all sorts of things like that. But for smaller businesses, that can be quite a challenge. So what I've opted to do is invest in coaching. Therapists invest in purchasing knowledge and understanding from us, and it's been my choice to now take on a business coach. I work with Paul very closely. We're starting to implement some changes, and we are going to try and bring this to the fore. So it's a kind of a two-part answer for me. There's different skills to build a therapy business than there is to build a national or international business. I know how to do the therapy business side of things. I want to share that with you, and I'm learning like mad on how to do the next bit, which is to develop the name of Hydrotherm throughout the industry.
And it's a really exciting future ahead, Rinky, and actually you're part of it. And with therapists like yourself, you're really going to help grow that accessibility to a treatment that really so many clients benefit from. So lastly, I'd like to go a little bit further south down to my neck of the woods, down into Sussex, with the wonderful Heather Botting. She is also a Hydrotherm therapist, hypnotherapist, and absolutely loves what she does, and was struggling with the aches and pains of the massage world, and Hydrotherm has actually given her so much strength to continue, and I'm really excited because she is an incredible therapist. And the question that she has for you, John, is it would be interesting for her to know and for us to know, what your dream is for Hydrotherm. Do you feel that you're kind of almost there already, or do you think that there's still something bigger out there? So what's your vision for the future?
Right, another great question, Claire. As you know, I'm not that much of a dreamer. I'm very much a pragmatist.
No, you leave the dreaming to me, John.
Yeah. I'm very pragmatic on the things that I do about. Do I have a vision? Do I have a plan for the development of our business? Yes, I do. Hydrotherm is probably still the industry's best kept secret, and I have to take responsibility for that. My plan is to try and double our business every year for the next 5 years, and to do that I'm going to have to learn how to develop a business nationally and internationally. So we have a plan rather than a dream. So
a strategy. Something many of us therapists lack as a strategy, but it's something that we can learn together. And I think certainly just jumping back to Jennifer's suggestion of having a forum, we can really get our massage businesses really going really well. There's just one last question I want to throw out there to you, John, and that's what impact or impression would you like to leave on the massage industry?
Wow. I've probably been through the whole gamut of experiences with Hydrotherm, from developing it in its very early days to spending absolute fortunes developing the material and everything else with it. I think the place that I'd really like to get this to is a space where people see Hydrotherm the same way that I do, and it may strike you in a slightly odd way that I don't see Hydrotherm as a be all and end all of a massage of massage. I see it as a fabulous tool. You and I were talking earlier on, and I kind of explained that you could give the best set of engineered tools, spanners if you like, to a terrible mechanic, and he'll stop your car for you. But you give those same tools to a therapist who's really keen to do a fantastic job and has great experience, and their customers will experience a great service from that mechanic. And I view massage the same way. Hydrotherm is a massage tool. That's what it is fundamentally. If you give it, it's not going to make a terrible therapist a great one. But if you have a desire to learn and you really want to develop your skill sets, and you're prepared to listen to people who've done some incredible things with it, then I believe that what follows that is financial success. So Hydrotherm for me is a massage tool. It's not the be all and end all. It's the same as a couch. It's how you use it that makes all the difference.
Wonderful. Now I would sort of second that really. And one of the things I want to leave you with is that John Holman created a massage tool, as he puts it, Hydrotherm, and it's transformed the way that massage can be delivered, and the potential of results for clients is phenomenal. And it still amazes me every week in my clinic what I am capable of doing on this piece of equipment and this tool. And it really does, rock the world of my customers and rock mine too. And I love that I get results every client that I see, every time I see them. The results are always progressive. So if you're interested in actually learning a little bit more about Hydrotherm, you can log on to John's site. It's actually www.johnholmantherapysolutions.co.uk. And on there you can see, an overview of the company. You can see all the various training levels. We actually train not only in supine massage on the Hydrotherm system, but we also teach them to therapists to massage pregnant women all the way through pregnancy, through all 3 trimesters. And we have also launched Tranquil C massage for cancer. So I urge you to look on there. And if I can just pass over to John just to give the Massage Matters website, that would be another place for you to have a little look. And if you're willing to book your massage a year in advance, you might want to give it a look.
Great, thanks very much, Claire. Yeah, so my private clinic can be found at massagematters.clinic. We're based in Tame, so in Oxfordshire. So massagematters.clinic should find us.
Brilliant. Thanks, John. And we'll definitely be inviting John back for a little bit more. I think there'll be some more questions after this one. Thank you.